Okay, let's talk about bike racks, okay? Again, I have my big old 90s mountain bike Trek here, and I have this bike rack on it, okay? It is a very sturdy bike rack. There aren't any moving hinges or anything. Not to say that that's required, but this is a very stout bike rack. You'll see it has a bolt right there. It bolts right to the frame of the bike. And then it comes up, it does a 90 here. There is a pivot point here. It's right here. And then it bolts to the frame of the bike here as well. So the connection points are here and here. And this is probably one of the nicer, more just super sturdy bike racks. This actually is one that attaches our daughter's Piccolo bike, so I can screw her little bike onto it, and it will attach to this bike rack. So this bike rack has to be super sturdy in order to do that. And that's not to say that you are required to have that kind of bike rack. Now here's another one. This is another one that is pretty sturdy. There's no bolts, but this is obviously, it's not on the bike, but you'll see here it's got the bolt holes most bikes will have holes down there on the bottom that you can bolt to, like multiple. See, there's the one that I actually used, and then there's another one there. And typically they're threaded, and there's a specific kind of bolt that goes with it. But if yours isn't, that's okay. And this one is there aren't any moving hinges on this one either. It's a fairly stout bike rack. And then it comes to this part here is how you adjust the distance between the bike rack and how this would attach is you will mount it on the bottom, and then that will actually bolt to it would probably bolt right there or to your seat or something like that. But that kind of stuff, if you're a DIYer, is very easy to do and fabricate. Like look at this bike rack here. Here's another one that has no pivot points. It doesn't even have the metal straps, but looky here, someone I think we used this in years past on a bike, and this is just some aftermarket banding and a nut and bolt combo there. Like, obviously we used it and attached it to somebody's bike, and all the joints are there's the bolts right there, or one of the bolts, how you would bolt it to your bike. That's a pretty sturdy one. Very nice. And in this video I will have like screenshots of Amazon bike racks. Now this is a very special bike rack, and I wanted to actually spend some time on this one. This bike rack attaches to your seat post, okay? So you will undo that bolt and open up that little clamp there, and that clamp will attach to your seat post. And years back it was really popular that this kind of bike rack here, I'm repositioning myself here, this kind of bike rack was really popular years back, where it would just attach, this one clamp would attach, and that was it. There was nothing else, no other hardware, none of these tines here you see, because these pieces actually go down and attach to the bottom part of the bike like that. But originally these weren't on these racks, so you just had this one rack jutting out from your seat post, and that was it. These parts weren't even there, so you just had this one pipe with a flat rack top, and people were buying those and expecting to put saddlebags on them that are designed to hang over, and that's why they added these later. so you could hang your saddlebag over, and then they added these for added support so more weight could be on there. This bike rack would work, but I definitely don't want anyone getting the single solitary pipe kind that just juts out and there's none of this other hardware here. That would be a nightmare. And I will, again, like I said, put some screenshots up of good bike racks, and hopefully I can track down a screenshot of the don't get bike rack. So that is a number of examples of bike racks. Here's a cheaper option that's on Amazon. I don't know if the price is still $15.52, but that's a killer deal. You have the bolt lug holes on the bottom of the rack that bolt to the lower rear fork, kind of by your chain rings in the back there, and then it has like a universal kind of connector, multiple ways that you can mount it to your bike up below your seat post, the two places where a bike rack typically will mount to. So because it's so kind of one type of rack fits all, it may be a little flimsy in certain areas, but it will do the trick, and it will hold, you know, your bike racks and your sleeping bag and everything. So if you go with this wouldn't be a bad option. Another bike rack that I found on Amazon is this one. This one is kind of a step up above the last bike rack, and it has a lot more welds and a lot less pivot points, but this will be a very sturdy bike rack. But it will fit less bikes. Okay, those universal ones like the last one will fit more of your kind of odd type bikes, which we encounter loads of weird type bikes every year. But this one is a little more kind of your like Trek or Specialized, will fit more your mainstream bike and less of your cheaper type bikes. But you can see there's the lug bolts on the bottom for the fork, and then the connecting bolts probably to the actual upper fork frame underneath your seat on the top there. This is double in price. I don't know if that's still the price, but this is a good bike rack and will definitely do the trick for you. This last bike rack is definitely a one-size-fits-all type bike rack. Okay, this is the upgraded version of the No bike rack that I was telling you about, and you saw we had a used one in the video earlier. This is a new one going, looks like, for $33.99. Again, the price has changed from day to day on Amazon, so I don't know if that's still the price, but you can see here it clamps to your seat post up on the upper part, and so you don't have to worry about fabricating where it's going to clamp to. You know exactly where it'll clamp to. And then the down sidebars go down, and you don't even need a lug bolt to screw it to. It actually has these like aftermarket like down fork clamps. It just clamps onto your fork, and it's designed for you to need no on-bike hardware slots or anything. It's just designed to clamp to all the pipes and the tubes. So this is definitely, we've put these on a number of like full suspension bikes and things like that. I've seen these in recent years, and these will work for sure, and will work for some really very interesting and very goofy type bikes. So if you have a goofy bike, this would be a good option for you. Okay, and just as a reminder, this is the No rack. You see how it clamps onto the seat post there, and that's the only part of the bike that it attaches to. There are no side rails going down and bolting to or clamping on the lower fork area. So all your weight would be on your seat post, and you hang a corner, and all that weight will just, your bike rack will just slide out and start rubbing on your tire. It's just bad news all around. Do not get a bike rack like this. If you show up with a bike rack like this, I'm going to send you packing, and you need to get a different bike rack. This is the No bike rack.